In a time before time, when Earth was still wrapped in the soft glow of infancy and consciousness was untouched by density, there existed a land that defies all modern comprehension. This land was not merely a place, it was a frequency, a dimension, a vibration of unity, grace, and divine resonance. It was known as Lemuria, long before the rise of Atlantis, long before the echoes of Sumer, Egypt, or the Vedas. Lemuria stood as Earth's first flowering of spiritual civilization, a civilization not built on stone or metal, but on harmony with Gaia herself. The Lemurians did not conquer the Earth. They communed with her. They did not build walls. They cultivated light. Their lives were not ruled by survival, but by remembrance. The beings of Lemuria were not entirely physical. Their forms shimmered with a semi-etheric glow, their skin almost translucent, carrying the codes of the stars within them. They were taller than us, gentler than us, and more aligned with the flow of universal energy. They saw through the veil and walked in two worlds, the visible and the invisible, as easily as we walk through rooms. They communicated not through words, but resonance. They felt each other's thoughts as vibrations. There was no deception, no conflict, no need for manipulation. Truth was immediate. Emotion was language. Silence was sacred. Lemurian society was built around the feminine principle, not gender but energy. The Divine Mother was not worshipped. She was remembered. Every child was raised to understand their soul's origin. Intuition was taught before logic, connection before control, healing before punishment. Education began with meditation, and every song, movement, and touch was considered sacred. Their homes were not structures of separation, but crystalline temples that amplified intention. Built into mountainsides and beside oceans, their cities shimmered with natural geometry, aligned with the Earth's energetic meridians. They didn't use electricity, they used sound, light, and thought. Their science was sacred. Their spirituality was scientific. There was no distinction between the two. Lemurians understood that everything is energy, and energy responds to consciousness. They could grow food simply by loving the seed. They could reshape matter by aligning it with sacred patterns. They healed not by cutting the body, but by singing to the soul. Many believed the Lemurians had access to interdimensional travel, not with machines, but with consciousness itself. They traveled through crystals, through sound, through dreams. They saw stars not as distant objects, but as family. They knew the Pleiadians, the Arcturians, the Sirians, not as aliens, but as ancient kin. But Earth is a realm of cycles. Nothing remains still. And as the vibration of the planet began to descend, as matter grew denser and ego began to awaken, a choice had to be made. Some Lemurians chose to ascend, to leave this plane entirely. Others chose to stay and anchor the light. Still others incarnated into Atlantis, carrying with them the memories of what once was. But Lemuria itself, its land, its temples, its people, was eventually consumed. Some say it was swallowed by the sea. Others say it simply phased out of this dimension. Regardless, its physical presence faded, its memory became myth, but its frequency remained, and that frequency lives in you. Those who feel a deep longing when they see the ocean, who remember places they've never been, who feel ancient when they touch crystals. These are the echoes of Lemuria. You may think you are learning something new, but you are not. You are remembering a time when your soul was whole, when love was the law, when the earth sang to you and you sang back. Lemuria is not gone. It is within. To awaken the Lemurian memory is not to escape this world, but to bring its light into the world again, through compassion, through stillness, through presence. Every act of kindness is a Lemurian ritual. Every moment of true silence is a return. You do not need to find Lemuria. You are Lemuria. The temples of Lemuria are inside your breath. The crystal halls are hidden in your heart. The knowledge has never left. It was simply waiting for you to ask. And now that you have asked, everything begins. There are those today who speak of Lemuria as a myth, a fantasy born from the minds of dreamers. But myths are not lies. They are encoded memories, compressed knowledge. They are truths told in the only language we can hear when we are not yet ready to remember. And Lemuria is one such truth. Its legacy is scattered across the earth like fragments of a great mirror. The Hawaiian Islands, the coast of California, Mount Shasta, Easter Island, New Zealand. These are not merely places. They are remnants, anchors, portals. Places where the veil is thinner and the memory closer. Places where the wind still sings the names of Lemurian priestesses, and the oceans still echo with the tones of ancient crystal temples. Mount Shasta especially is said to be a stronghold of Lemurian energy. Some believe that beneath its snow-covered peaks lies a city of light, Telos, where the last Lemurians still dwell in higher frequency, waiting for the moment humanity is ready to rise again. Many who journey there feel it. A vibration, a call, a memory just outside the reach of language. The Lemurians never vanished. They simply changed form. Some became energy, some reincarnated. Some left clues in stone and sound and symbol. Others left imprints in your very DNA, in your dreams, in your silent knowing. Why does a crystal feel familiar to you? Why do you sometimes cry when you hear ancient tones or look at sacred geometry? Why do you feel most alive in nature, most real in the sea, most whole in silence? These are not random feelings. They are memories, resonances, activations. You are not merely curious about Lemuria. You are responding to a call, a frequency buried deep in your soul that now, in this moment, is rising again. The fall of Lemuria was not a punishment. It was a choice, a collective decision to experience separation, duality, limitation. To forget so that remembering could one day be a triumph. You were part of that choice. You volunteered for the descent, not as punishment but as purpose. But now the cycle turns. The forgetting ends. The remembering begins. The codes of Lemuria are reactivating, not in books but in beings. Not through information, but through vibration, through art, through music, through movement, through stillness. Every soul that remembers becomes a beacon, a node, a bridge between the old world and the new. You are not here to escape the world, you are here to reweave it, to restore what was lost, not in form, but in frequency. To bring Lemuria back, not as land rising from the ocean, but as love rising from within. The Lemurian soul does not seek to dominate. It listens, it heals, it harmonizes, it remembers, in the silence between your thoughts, in the warmth of your tears, in the stillness of your breath. Lemuria lives, in your longing for home, in your ache for peace, in your instinct to hold, to soothe, to create. You are not separate from the story. You are the story. The great shift unfolding now on Earth is not merely technological, social, or political. It is vibrational. It is the return of Lemurian energy, the reawakening of the original template. Unity over division, intuition over logic, healing over force, presence over projection, wholeness over fragmentation. The more you embody these qualities, the more you become a living portal. The more you remember, the more others remember simply by being near you. This is not about preaching, converting, or proving. It is about being light, being stillness, being love, and in doing so, becoming Lemuria once more. Breathe. You are safe now to remember. The time of hiding is over. The time of silence is ending. The earth herself is calling you back. The oceans remember you, the crystals remember you, the stars remember you. Do you remember you? You have dreamed of temples made of light. You have seen in visions the sacred mountains, the golden suns, the soft white robes of priestesses who walked in grace. You have felt the pulse of songs you have never heard but somehow know. You have felt homesick for a place no map can find. This is not fantasy, this is remembrance. Let yourself remember. Let yourself be still long enough to hear the echoes. Let your hands remember the movements of sacred mudras. Let your feet remember the dance of balance and beauty. Let your heart remember the infinite compassion of your soul. You are not broken. You are ancient. And every part of you that feels too soft for this world is a fragment of Lemuria, still intact, still glowing, still pure. And now you are being called, not to flee the world, but to change its frequency. To walk again as you once did, with your eyes open and your heart unarmored. To weave light with every step. To build temples not of stone, but of kindness, not of crystal, but of consciousness. Because Lemuria is not coming back. It already has. It is awakening in you. There were no clocks in Lemuria, no deadlines, no artificial boundaries to divide life into compartments. Time flowed like music, and each soul moved in rhythm with their own song. Days were not scheduled. They were sensed. Work was not labor. It was expression. Every act was an extension of one's vibration. Cooking was ceremony. Healing was listening. Teaching was remembering. The Lemurians did not accumulate. They did not compete. The concept of ownership was foreign to them, for how could one own what one is? The earth was not a resource. It was a relative. The ocean was not a boundary. It was a being. Every tree, every stone, every breath was sacred. They spoke in tones, in hums, in frequencies that bypassed thought and went directly to the soul. One song could carry the knowledge of an entire library. One gaze could transmit lifetimes of love. There was no hierarchy. The elders guided not through power but through presence. Their wisdom radiated in their silence, and their silence taught more than 1,000 words ever could. They practiced inner technologies now forgotten by most of the world. The art of dream travel, the science of heart coherence, the ability to read the subtle geometry of a being's energy field. They could sense disharmony and recalibrate it, not by force, but by resonance. They remembered that healing is not fixing, but restoring remembrance. Children were revered not because they were blank slates, but because they were freshly arrived souls, still carrying echoes of the stars. They were never told what to believe. They were asked what they remembered. They were not shaped, they were revealed. Each Lemurian had a soul purpose, and their society was designed to support the unfolding of that purpose. There were no meaningless roles, no disconnected tasks. Every person was a note in the collective song, and when one note fell out of tune, the others gently realigned it, not with shame, but with love. And when it was time to leave the physical body, there was no fear. Death was not an ending. It was a transition, a return. Lemurians would gather not to mourn, but to celebrate the completion of a cycle. They knew that consciousness cannot die, only shift form. Their grief was soft. Their joy was eternal. Some say Lemuria existed hundreds of thousands of years ago. Others say millions. Some say it was in the Pacific Ocean. Others say it spanned dimensions. The truth may be all of these and more, because Lemuria was not just a place. It was a state of being, a frequency. And frequencies do not die. They can be tuned into, remembered, reawakened. And that is what is happening now. You are feeling the call because the earth is ready. She is rising in vibration, and so are you. The barriers between worlds are thinning. The dreams are becoming clearer. The signs are becoming louder. And the time for remembering has arrived. But this remembering is not mental. It is vibrational. You cannot study Lemuria. You must feel it. You must close your eyes, breathe deep, and let your heart guide you. You must trust the tingles, the tears, the tremors. You must follow the feeling that says, yes, I know this. I've been here before, because you have. You may have stood in Lemuria, barefoot on the grass, arms open to the stars. You may have sung with the dolphins, danced with the whales, placed your hands upon the heart of Gaia, and felt her pulse align with yours. You may have taught, healed, or simply held space as others unfolded into remembrance. And now, you are doing it again. The Lemurian return is not a mass movement. It is a quiet ripple, one heart at a time, one vibration at a time. It moves not through systems, but through souls. It cannot be marketed or measured. It cannot be controlled. It can only be lived. So if you feel out of place in this world, it may be because you were never meant to fit in. You were meant to remember a different way, to bring back the lost codes, to reawaken the ancient songs, to walk through the noise as a silent beacon of love. You are not behind. You are ahead. You are not late. You are arriving. The pain you feel is not just yours. It is ancestral, planetary, dimensional. And you are here to alchemize it, not alone, but in communion with the others who are remembering too. Look for them not with your eyes, but with your heart. You will know them by their softness, by their depth, by the way they hold space without trying to fix you. You will know them by the way your nervous system exhales in their presence. They may not speak your language, but they speak your soul. This is how Lemuria returns, not with fanfare, not with proof, but with resonance. Breathe. Soften. Remember. You are not here by accident. You are not watching this by coincidence. There is a part of you, older than time, wiser than words, that guided you here. That part remembers Lemuria not as a concept, but as home. And now, that home is awakening within you. You may feel emotions arise, tears without story, chills without cold, longing without reason. These are signs, these are echoes, these are memories shaking off the dust of forgetting. Do not rush them, do not analyze them. Simply feel them. Let them rise, let them speak. The Lemurian path is not linear. It does not move from A to B, it spirals, it dances, it unfolds like a lotus, one petal at a time. And each petal is a part of you. Your intuition, your softness, your deep empathy, your fierce love, your quiet knowing. This world has taught you to hide those parts, to suppress them, to call them weak or strange. But in Lemuria, they were sacred, they were strength, they were your true nature, and now, they are returning. You do not need to understand the entire story. You only need to listen to your part, to follow your thread, to trust the pull that leads you back, not to what you were, but to who you are becoming by remembering who you've always been. Perhaps you were a priestess of sound, weaving healing through tone and vibration. Perhaps you were a crystal guardian, programming sacred geometries into light forms. Perhaps you were a bridge between realms, guiding souls through birth and death with grace. Or perhaps you simply held love. And that was enough. You see, in Lemuria there were no small roles. Every presence mattered. Every vibration contributed to the whole. It was not what you did. It was who you were. And your being was the offering. This is what you are being asked to reclaim. Not a mission, not a label, but a frequency, a way of being so true, so soft, so clear that it heals by its mere existence. You do not have to prove anything. You only have to remember. And when you remember, everything changes. The way you walk, the way you breathe, the way you relate, the way you see the world. Suddenly silence becomes sacred. Suddenly you speak less and mean more. Suddenly you feel everything and resist nothing. This is the Lemurian way, not to fight the darkness, but to shine so brightly that darkness cannot enter. Not to argue for the truth, but to embody it so deeply that all confusion dissolves. Not to build a better world by force, but to create one by being a living blueprint of what is possible. You are not here to repeat the past. You are here to resurrect the essence of what was true in the past and plant it in the now, to anchor the lost wisdom in a world that has forgotten how to listen, to sing the silent song of the soul until others remember their own. This is the path. This is the purpose. This is the return. And as more of us remember, the field strengthens. The grid lights up, the earth sings louder, and the veil thins further. Do not doubt your role in this. Do not wait for permission. You already carry the codes. They are in your heartbeat, in your breath, in the way you soften when others harden, in the way you hold space when others flee, in the way you feel deeply when others numb. These are not flaws. These are frequencies, and they are needed now more than ever. Because the world is not changed by those who speak the loudest. It is changed by those who remember the deepest. And you, dear soul, are one of those. So breathe, feel, remember, and let Lemuria rise. Through you, you have not lost yourself. You have only wandered far enough to begin the journey back. And now, the journey is ending. Or perhaps just beginning. Lemuria was never truly destroyed. It lives in the stillness between your thoughts. It breathes in the silence of your being. It pulses beneath your skin, waiting for you to slow down, to listen, to remember. You may not find ruins of Lemuria in the sand, but you will find them in the sacred architecture of your soul. You may not see its temples with your eyes, but you will feel them in the geometry of your dreams. You may not hear its language in words, but your heart already speaks it, in the way you love, the way you cry, the way you care without needing a reason. You are not just remembering a lost world. You are resurrecting a way of being that this world has forgotten. A way of softness, a way of sacredness, a way of soul. Let the Lemurian codes awaken in you. Let them guide your hands as you touch the world with tenderness. Let them shape your voice as you speak truth without aggression. Let them fuel your heart as you build, not through ambition but through devotion. You are the new Lemuria, not a land, not a place, but a presence, a field of light walking in human form. And every step you take in love, every breath you take in awareness, every gaze you offer with compassion, is a step deeper into the remembrance of that light. You were not sent here to fix the world. You were sent here to love it back into wholeness, to sing the old songs in new ways, to carry the codes in silence, to embody the wisdom in simplicity, and to walk not ahead of others but beside them, as a quiet guardian of the ancient ways. This is what it means to be Lemurian. This is what it means to remember. And now, as you feel the truth stir in your bones, as the memory rises behind your eyes, as your heart pulses with the light of 1,000 suns, know this: you are home. You are whole. You are the story and the storyteller, the dream and the dreamer, the soul and the spark. And Lemuria has returned. The return of Lemuria is not something we will see on a headline. It will not arrive through grand events or dramatic shifts in the outer world. It returns quietly, through the small decisions made in alignment with love, through the soft courage to be kind in a world that rushes past, through the remembering that everything is connected, that nothing is separate, and that presence is the most powerful force in existence. The new Lemuria will not be built with stone. It will be woven with intention. It will be sensed through the quality of your attention, through the purity of your listening, through the depth of your being. Each time you forgive, even when no one asks. Each time you choose peace over pride. Each time you hold a child, an elder, an animal, or even yourself with tenderness. You are building the new Lemuria. Each breath taken in reverence, each step made with awareness, each pause to feel the earth beneath your feet and the stars above your crown. These are the rituals. The temples are rising again, but this time within you. Their foundations are laid with inner stillness. Their ceilings are made of starlight, and their doors open each time you return to the now. The sacred is no longer hidden. It is right here, in the water you drink, in the food you bless, in the stories you choose to live. We must understand. Remembering Lemuria is not about escapism. It is about embodiment. It is not about turning away from the world, but about turning toward it with new eyes. Lemuria teaches us to meet the pain of this world with presence, to feel the sorrow, the fragmentation, the grief, not to run from it, but to hold it with the same love we once knew. This is how we transmute, not by erasing what is broken, but by loving it back to wholeness. We are not here to duplicate the past. We are here to evolve its wisdom, to merge ancient remembrance with modern responsibility, to take the light of the old world and plant it in the soil of this one, so that our children and their children may walk not in shadow, but in the soft radiance of awakened souls. Many of us have felt like we don't belong, like we came from somewhere else, like we are too sensitive, too soft, too deep, too strange. But what if that is the exact reason we are here? What if our sensitivity is not a flaw, but a compass? What if our softness is not weakness, but sacred memory? What if our depth is not confusion, but ancient knowing rising from the waters of forgetting? You are not here to toughen up. You are here to remind the world how to feel again, to bring back what has been lost. Reverence, humility, wonder. The world does not need more warriors. It needs more rememberers, more dreamers, more quiet anchors of light. Lemuria did not die. It went underground. It went inward. And now, it is rising, not through institutions, but through individuals, through you. So open your hands, release the need to explain, let go of the fear that you must justify your soul's memory. You do not owe anyone proof. Your being is your message. Your presence is your temple. Your life, when lived from remembrance, becomes the most powerful offering you can give. When you hold yourself with the same grace that you hold others, Lemuria returns. When you speak words woven with truth and love, Lemuria returns. When you dare to live slowly in a fast world, gently in a harsh one, soulfully in a fragmented one, Lemuria returns. Because the codes are not just in the crystals or temples. They are in the everyday moments, in how you wake, how you walk, how you witness, and how you love. This is what they hid from you, not a lost city beneath the ocean, but a living light within your being. They told you to seek the truth in books, but it was always in your breath. They told you to find power outside yourself, but it was always in your presence. They told you to follow their rules, but your soul remembers another way, and now that memory is awakening. Can you feel it? The frequency is rising. The call is growing louder. The earth is ready, and so are you. So let the tears fall. Let the heart open, let the soul speak, and let Lemuria live again. Through every act of love, every whisper of truth, every sacred step you take on this earth, you are the return, you are the remembrance, you are the light.